over the past several months, I've been working on cleaning up my quilt room and decluttering it. I've also added some new furniture and some new storage unit. I think you're going to enjoy this video. So I'm going to be showing you some before pictures and show you what I've done. But I really like the increased storage, and I have a few favorites that I'll tell you about as I'm going along here. Now, my goals were to really declutter. I wanted to get the clutter out of my quilt room, and I wanted to brighten up the space. So I didn't do any major things like painting, but I did add some new things to my quilt room, and I got rid of a lot of old things. So let's get started and let me show you what I've done. Okay, so one of the first things I did is I moved most of my storage containers. These were full of storage containers, and my books were in a bookcase on the south wall. Now, my fabric is still the same. It's still in here. That just is too good to change. So my fabric, or the major portion of my stash, is still in here, but I moved my books here and took most of the storage containers out and moved them elsewhere. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to get my fabrics that were in those containers away from the light. And on my left here, I have some really nice light coming in, but I was afraid it might damage the fabric that was in all the containers in here. And I really like this. I just think it's a cleaner look. I do have a few storage containers here, but it's away from the direct light of this window. So I like it. I like how this has turned out. In this part of my room, I had some old crates, but I took those out and replaced them with this small rolling cart. It's going to be easier to clean here, and I think the white just helps to brighten and lighten up the room. Here I had a magnetic bulletin board, and it created what I thought was a lot of visual color. So I took all that down, and I just decided to put up just my calendar instead of the bulletin board with all the things on it plus my calendar. And again, I just like that uncluttered look. Here, I've just removed a lot of the clutter. Again, this just gives a neater, cleaner look, and I just really had to get rid of the clutter. And I'll show you the before and after pictures. Now, I've also removed all the vintage things that were on top of my cabinets. I just wanted to get rid of that, and again, reduce the clutter. The clutter in here and in my house was just kind of getting to me, so I just had to, again, get rid of some stuff. So I didn't paint the cabinets, but I certainly decluttered everything so that everything is more manageable. Every drawer has been cleaned out. You can see how nice and clean the drawers are looking. That one's almost completely empty. You can see this one has been organized. It doesn't look super organized, but it's hard to organize some of that electronic stuff. So you can see how nice that's looking. My cabinets here stayed pretty much the same. These are easy to keep clean because I have a space for everything and everything's been labeled. Now my sewing space here has pretty much stayed the same. I just cleaned it up just a little bit. But you can see the cabinets on top, they're all cleaned off, and all that clutter it's just not weighing me down anymore. And again, my room's just looking brighter and less cluttered. Here I didn't really change much. I did get rid of my antique thread holder. Again, I wanted to get rid of the visual clutter, and I felt like that was kind of cluttering up my space, and I wanted to protect my thread. So now it's in cases away from all the light and the dust. Now, in an earlier video, someone suggested that I paint my cabinets. Now, if I had painted my cabinets white, it would have lightened stuff up, but in all honesty, I don't want to paint cabinets. I don't want to maintain painted cabinets. These wooden cabinets are low maintenance. They stay looking nice, and I'd rather be quilting than painting and managing painted cabinets. So over here I did get all these drawers cleaned out too, and these have really stayed looking pretty nice. This bottom drawer just has a lot of fabric that I use for crafts. This here is probably one of my favorite parts of my mini makeover, because as you can see, underneath my table is really nice and decluttered. Now, this is a little thing that I came up with, and I'll show you. I have a link for how I created these little pull-out things, but these pull out now. I have kind of a tucked-in storage space there, but I created these with some Harbor Freight tools, and that has just given me so much easy-to-get-to storage, and I can do the same thing with this one. I could just pull it out when I need to and push it right back in. But it's so clean underneath there, so decluttered, and I can sit here without my feet and legs bumping into stuff. Now this is perhaps my most favorite part of my mini makeover, my mini quilt room makeover. This is my new ironing station, and I love it. This is a toolbox from Harbor Freight, and this ironing station is so cool. I don't have my ironing board set up anymore, and this stays here. I can roll it. Sometimes I like to pull it out so I can drape a larger piece of fabric or my quilt over it to iron. And it's so easy to clean underneath because it's so easy to move. I have lots of accessories over on the side to hold my spray bottles, my best press, my misting bottle. It has my little water thing that I use to refill my iron. It has my sticky rollers and a small pair of scissors over there. But I love this. I'll give you a little closer view of this. I store my clappers in here, so when I'm ironing, it's so easy to get to them. I have all my smaller rulers that I can use since it's right next to my cutting station also. But I really love this ironing station. Wes cut a piece of fabric, and then Jared helped me cover this with padding and this ironing board material that I covered it with. But you can see all the storage that I have. It's just incredible. All my kits and pre-cuts are in this unit. Like I said, this is one of my most favorite things about my quilt room. My design wall has stayed the same. It's so big and so great. I really love that. I really need to replace the fabric on there because some of the color has rubbed off on it and it makes it look dirty. but I don't want to even do that because I'm afraid if I get something else, things won't stick as well. But I love this design wall, and I didn't change a thing about it. Now, this is my other favorite spot in my quilt room. This is another toolbox from Harbor Freight. It's white. I love it. I decided on white to lighten things up. Even though I didn't want to paint my cabinets, I did want to put these in a lighter color. I had considered red, but I really like the white because it just makes things brighter. I left my magazine rack there, but this just gives all kinds of incredible storage too. I put my sewing machine, accessories in here, my big 2.5-inch jelly roll containers are in there, and then I have my UFOs down under here. Well, some of them are down there, but I absolutely love my two new tool chests that act as fantastic storage for my quilt room. I do want to try to give you a 360 view of the room, or as much as I can, and then I'll have to reposition my camera and all, but I do want to do that. Now this is where you enter my quilt room, and as you move around the room, and then as you move around the room, you can see my cutting station there with my blue mat. You can just see how much nicer and cleaner everything is looking. And you can just see how neat and clean things are looking. And then back to my cutting station. And then back to my ironing station there as you enter my quilt room. So overall, I'm loving the outcome of my mini quilt room makeover. I love the increased storage. I like the decluttered look. I like that it's brighter and easier to clean. In the comments below, please tell me what your favorite parts of my mini quilt room makeover are. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and until next time, have fun quilting.